Dad.
Alright, so here we are the next day working on this 100. So I already went ahead and got this gasket surface all cleaned off there. I use one of these carbide scrapers, which I don't know, they work okay. It's not a magic tool by any means. Still like these Scotch-Brite pads, but you have to use them very sparingly with the aluminum cases and everything. But if you know what you're doing, honestly, there's a lot of times where this is going to work better. But I still use this what's it called, razor blade. Still use this, so you got to use whatever tools you need to get in all the different areas. But anyways, Jackson did a great job here. You can see this was like really nasty, muddy looking. He got that all nice and cleaned up. I wish I had a little bit of touch-up paint because we just hit in here, and same on this inside, but we'll get some and maybe do that in the off season just to keep the paint protected and make it look nice. So might actually just strip this whole swing arm down, check all the bearings, and paint it while we're at it. Give it a little flair. But anyways, so Jackson's working on polishing the rim up a little bit. You see the rim looks really nice. We just got to get the spokes cleaned up a little bit. And we've got this little strap for helping to lift up the bike, moving around and whatnot. So we're going to install that while we're working on it, and then finish up the oil change. And then we'll look at the brakes here in a sec. Alright, so here we are with the cleaned case, or cover, whatever you want to call it. So there is signs of dirt right here. This is right where the ignition stator wire comes through. So because there's no silicone on it or anything, like a little bit of dirt and moisture can get in there. So we're going to put a little bit of silicone on it to kind of help prevent that. This engine is different from a lot of other engines where there's no oil on this side. So the gasket is purely for keeping dirt and water out of it. So normally, big proponent of like a Yama Bond or some kind of similar, like Honda, what is it? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. I'll find it afterwards. But anyways, use some kind of silicone that's made for small engines, and that'll help seal all these little, if there's any little nicks, like what I went through, and I wanted to try to clean all that up, make sure that's all nice and smooth. You can really quickly damage those surfaces, so just be careful. If you do have something like this, like my one suggestion is one of these carbide scrapers is you can very quickly put a gouge in this aluminum, so you have to do very light pressure when you do it. So what I tend to do is I use the scraper to pull any of the big pieces off first, and then I can use this in some areas, but preferably like I'll finish with some Scotch-Brite pads or something like that, but preferably I use this for as much as possible. Now you just got to make sure you get all the dirt out from wherever you're cleaning it. But anyways, we got our new sprocket on. Got that, a little bit of anti-seize. I like to put a little anti-seize in there just to help prevent any of that from rusting, even though there's a bunch of oil and grease flying around in there. But let's check out the sprocket. So, like, she's just like me, it's missing a tooth. Except the dentist probably didn't do that. So, at any rate, you can see like the angle that the gears are going. They're definitely worn. This bike's gonna just feel so much better with the new chain and sprockets. So the picture I'll post, this was like a good link and a half or two lengths longer, or sorry, the old chain was, that was how much it was stretched. So anyways, where we're at right now, Jackson, he's still working on cleaning up those spokes. Over here, I started tearing into the brakes a little bit. So the rear brakes were just like, they weren't doing much. It was pretty clean in here overall, but I just went through and hit the Scotch-Brite pad, a little bit of brake clean that surface up a little bit. But the common thing on Hondas is this linkage point, right over there, is it gets moisture in there. So it only has this little seal, and that gets worn or just water gets past it, whatever. And then you get some crap in here. So it was definitely a little gritty in there. When we took it apart, it definitely had a bunch of crap in there, dirt and rust. And so cleaned this up on the wire brush and with the wire wheel, and I'll put some anti-seize and put it all back together. I'm putting some new EBC brakes on it. This thing really doesn't need brakes, but they're a little worn, but they're not that bad. But I'm just going to replace them anyways, because the friction, I don't know what kind of material this is. I don't know if this is OEM. It kind of looks like OEM, but it doesn't matter. EBC, that's what I use with racing four-wheelers. I'm a big proponent for them, so that's what I'm going to use. We'll probably tear apart the front real quick and put those brakes on there too, just because we'll probably find the exact same thing. A little bit of rust in there, so we'll get it cleaned up, and then the brakes are going to feel great afterwards. So we just got to put some oil in it, put the wheels back on, and we'll be ready to ride here pretty soon. Alright, so here we are. Got our gasket on, of course. Got our chain all adjusted. Got our little strap on there for helping to lift and move the bike around if we need to. Got our brakes fixed, hopefully. We did the same thing to the rear brake as I did to the front, where I cleaned up. It wasn't nearly as bad. The front brake was working much better, but definitely is going to work better now. And I still put the new shoes on, that way everything matches. I don't have like a more aggressive compound back there and less up there, or vice versa. You want your brakes to work together in synchrony, and I like having a good brake feel. So yeah, we got all new shoes front and rear, sanded down the drums a little bit, make sure there's no rust or film on them, because there's no seal on these drums. So if you get water and crap in there and you don't use the brakes and clean it off right away, then it could potentially start to rust up and whatever, and then you have to burn that off to ever get your brakes back. But anyways, so yeah, oil change is done, air filter, spark plug, yeah, sprockets, went through everything. And I hear the neighbor on his pit bike, so we got to get out and ride before we lose daylight. We're almost out now, so let's go give her a rip and see how she goes.
My rear brake doesn't work.
All right, we just got to adjust it a little bit then. Let's go adjust it real quick. Follow us. All right, lead the way. Lead the way. Hey. Oh.
Try.
Turn that off.
I can't.
Press the button again.